Hey everyone, I'm Chef Dhruv Oberoi and I run this beautiful set of restaurant called the Olive Kutub, the Grammar Room and Bar Sarai. Today we are doing a very special episode. We'll be showcasing some classic recipes in a very contemporary way by using US cranberries. To tell you, I have started my career with a Japanese restaurant called Ai, which was I think 2007 or 2008. So today I'll be doing a very special recipe which I have learned from that era, and today is a progressive version of that particular recipe. So let's start cooking. So this particular recipe has three major elements. One is the teriyaki, which I'll be doing with the beautiful aromatic soy. Then I'm doing the same thing with cranberry and some sake. So just tell you, teriyaki is made by a classic combination of three elements: soy, mirin, sake. So for today's recipe, I have replaced mirin with cranberry juice because the acidity and the sweetness of cranberry juice is perfect for teriyaki. That's why I have replaced mirin with this particular juice. To tell you, mirin is a Japanese sweetened rice wine, so that's why I've taken this. But I have procured Japanese wine, which is the sake. So let's start. So of course, you have to check your pots and pans and your equipments. Everything should be in place. So for this, you need whatever range. Today I'm cooking on induction. A sauce pot, and let's start adding three things. Very simply, you don't need to flambe anything. Just simply add your Japanese rice wine called sake, US cranberry juice, soy sauce. To just tell you, we have two variants of soy sauce in Japanese cuisine. One is light soy and one is dark soy. Light soy is usually a little more salty, whereas dark soy is very lightly salted. So we don't need that high salted soy. So we have used the dark soy instead. So here you go, soy, cranberry, sake. To just give aroma to the whole sauce, so we're going to use the coriander stems without wasting the stem part of this beautiful herb. So I'm going to simply roughly chop it and add to the sauce. To the whole thing, you can reserve this for the garnish and for any other dish what you're planning, but I've simply used the coriander stem. I'm going to add half a ginger, just smash it. Here you go, and maybe one or maybe two garlic. So the recipe goes in a very simple ratio, 1:1:1. So whatever you're using, soy, cranberry juice, sake, 100, it can be 500, 500, 500, and then you can adjust your seasoning accordingly. So we just bring the whole thing to a boil, and then we reduce it like maybe for half an hour till you get that nice saucy glossy consistency. So here your soy is getting reduced for your teriyaki, and we'll jump on to a second element, which is called the yuzu kosho. But this is our variation of yuzu kosho with US cranberries, where we're going to use some beautiful peppercorn from Northeast. We're going to use some soaked cranberries, which is here. And we're going to use some bird's eye chili. You can replace this with any fresh chilies you have, and a little bit of sea salt. So 4 elements, condiment, that's there. Keep checking on your sauce. It should not boil. You just need to reduce it nicely without boiling it. Great. So for this salsa, so take your preserved peppercorn, add some cranberries to it. So classically they do a yuzu peel, but I have replaced yuzu with the cranberry because it has that beautiful acidity and sweetness to it. I'm gonna just roughly throw this chili into it. So this is a fresh bird's eye chili from Nagaland. Basically you have a different variant of chili. I think India is so rich in the produce. So you have a Bhut Jhalakia which comes from that particular region. You have the other Bhavnagari chili, which is not that spice, but you can use that if you don't want that spicy. And a little bit of sea salt. So you have to just muddle it nicely so that everything is So keep muddling your salsa till the time you get a nice consistency like a salsa. It need to be roughly, it has to have a texture like a roughly cut salsa. But at the same time, you need to keep muddling it. So the salsa is sweet, sour, spicy at the same time. So now that we have finished our two condiment, one is your cranberry teriyaki and the cranberry kosho, which is a take on a yuzu kosho. Let me reveal you the main dish for which we have done this preps. So I'm going to do a duck sukune roulade. So duck sukune is basically a minced meat which has been barbecued. So that I have already done. So here we have a barbecued duck leg. So where of course, you have to marinate the whole duck for like overnight for 12 hours or so. And then you have to barbecue nicely on the grill and then you have to pull it out. So basically it's a pulled duck which has been mixed with the soaked cranberry, some spring onions, some garlic, some other seasoning. So this is a barbecued duck sukune. And here we have a smoked duck slices. So this is more like a charcuterie, which has been smoked and cured. So we're going to do the entire roulade by stuffing the whole thing with this beautiful pulled duck sukune. So here the little technique, what I'm going to tell you is that the whole dish is inspired by Japan. So we have to use the technique of rolling a sushi. So that is very, very important, very, very crucial. You should be, you need to be very, very patient in your hands, need to be a little subtle so that you can do this beautiful technique of rolling. So I have layered this duck nicely so that you can see the beautiful arrangement of the duck once the dish is done. So this I'm going to simply stuff it with this barbecued duck sukune. Instead of rice, we are just stuffing the whole thing with duck, and instead of nori, we are using the thinly sliced duck carpaccio. So I am using different terms from Japan, from Europe, so that you guys get to know that what exactly we are doing, how this is a progressive dish from a traditional one. So here you layer your duck, which has been rolled with soaked cranberry, spring onion, garlic, chili, and whatever seasoning you want. So there's also some ginger. So you can replace your ginger with the gari, which is again one of the Japanese condiments which they use very, aggressively for their sushis and other stuff. So with a very gentle hand, you just need to roll it. Just make sure you take this thing away. So here your duck roulade, aka duck sushi is ready. So this is gonna become our main appetizer, which will be accompanied with a teriyaki glaze and a cranberry kosho. So let's plate this beautiful dish. So here that the plate is here, our teriyaki is here. So I have just added a little bit of honey at the end. Once your teriyaki is reduced down, just finish the whole sauce with the honey to get that gloss and extra kick of the sweetness. So can you see that, how glossy this teriyaki is? I wish I would have shown you nicely, but I hope you can see that. So very flavorful teriyaki, which is made with cranberry. It has a hint of ginger, garlic, coriander. I didn't add chili for it because I'm using chili for the other condiment. You can easily add a fresh red chilies to it to give that extra kick of, the spice. So Japan is all about, the techniques, the beauty, the ingredients. So that's what we try to capture everything at the same time. So carefully transfer this roulade into your plate. I'm going to add 2 more elements to it, which you can of course change seasonally. So here we have a beetroot which has been pickled, and we have a white gari. So this can act as a very nice cold appetizer. Which will go on the side. You can replace this beetroot with whatever fruit you have. You can, play with mango, raw mango. You can play with pickled peaches. So whatever good things you have, because duck is a versatile meat and food goes really well with it. So some sliced white gari, which will again give that little kick to the whole dish. And I'm going to garnish with some beautiful leaves. So here we have a leaf called gongura, which is very, very seasonal, very, very local. So this is going to act as a little garnish and little salad. You can play with different leaves. Here I've got little sorrel, which you can use. I've got this beautiful leaf from sweet potato plant. It's a sweet potato leaf, so you can use that. And for the extra floral note, so there's some pumpkin flowers, which you can just use. So here you go. So your dish is ready. I would say a duck sukune roulade, which is sushi inspired, paired with 2 condiments. One is the teriyaki, and I've forgotten the second condiment, which is the cranberry kosho. Good that you have reminded me. So this I'm going to add on the side, which is going to act as a little pickle. With every slice of duck, you can just keep having it. It's as simple as when you serve a gari or a wasabi with your sushi. So we are adding a cranberry kosho on the side, which you can easily have it with duck. Here you go.